just for some context, in this RAF wrestling match Arman had with Giorgio Palaz, they were, kind of fighting dirty the whole time. All right, Palaz was, kind of like fake slapping the back of Arman's head and just being like rough and aggressive and just kind of racking up penalty points and like kind of slapping him and kind of doing some illegal rough stuff here and there. And then Arman straight up just slapped him in the face. And he got a penalty point for that. And then freaking Arman pushed Palaz out of the freaking circle, giving him like a real point rather than just a penalty point. Most of those points you see, like 7 of those are penalty points. And Arman took him down once too. Literally took him down and ended up in like top guard. Yet for some reason they didn't count that takedown. He took him down outside the circle. I don't know, but he landed a takedown. So I mean, he clearly won the match. And let's watch what happened at the end of the match.
Tsarukyan stops it, and this match is over. Arman Tsarukyan is...
Boom! You see that? As soon as the match is over, flips him over, ground and pound, punches him in the face, and then knees him directly in the face. Then boom, chaos. Chaos has ensued. And Arman's getting tackled. Arman's freaking sprawled out. And then Palaz is getting tackled too. Dude, what is going on? You gotta think Arman's team is trying to get... I think each guy's team is trying to get the security off of him. Off of their guy. And there's just a bunch of people involved. After that, there was someone, I think, from Arman's team. Or someone like tried punching a guy from Palaz's team or something like that. And then he got tackled. It was like it was a crazy little scuffle. Okay? And it's crazy that Arman he just gets triggered so easily. It's like, it's funny, but honestly, like after seeing this for like a third, fourth time, it's not really that funny. And it's just kind of pathetic. And it's sad because the UFC, he's not Jones, he's not McGregor. The UFC, Arman might end up just not getting a title shot for just years. The UFC might just force him to wait out. Like, for all we know, we're never gonna see him fight Ilya, right? Ilya's just gonna be fighting undeserving contenders until he retires. At this point, man. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Paulus is being a jackass. And Paulus, before the match, was talking online and stuff and saying, oh, if Arman does anything illegal, I'm going to, like, hit him for real. Which is weird. Like, you're the wrestler. Arman's the MMA fighter, one of the best fighters on the planet in your weight class, bud. Like, so I don't know what he was talking about. And, Arman made a tweet saying, you fuck around and find out. And Paulus did fuck around. But Paulus just did a little bit of, like, dirty wrestling. Meanwhile, Arman actually slapped him. And then after the match, like, freaking punched him directly in the freaking face and kneed him in the face. It's just too much from Arman. Like, there's no reason to start a freaking fight over it. Over you both cheating and fouling. Like, come on. Like, he just loses. This guy Arman just can't help but lose his temper. The MMA guru is lucky. He's lucky. Because in the other grappling match, Guru snuck in a little knee to the body. He's lucky that Arman didn't just starch him out cold right there. Based off of what we know of Arman. And let's not forget the time that Arman Tsarukyan broke Dan Hooker's nose just because he got a little heated during their face-off. And also the one time he tried to hit a fan. That fan, threw something at him. But still, he loses his temper. I mean, Arman's going to be lucky if he doesn't catch a case. No, I don't think Paulus will sue him or anything or press any charges. He's in the hospital, I guess. So, or was. So there you go. And I don't think that this crash out was justified. I think that it was childish. Yes, it's a funny situation. I'm sure people will laugh at it, but after a while, I think people will realize that he just has a short temper and he loses control of his emotions. And it's pathetic, if I'm being honest. He put this non-MMA fighter, this wrestler, in the hospital after punching him and kneeing him in the face after they both had a heavy foul match. Both of them. Okay, he broke Dan Hooker's nose by headbutting him just because he felt the heat of the moment and he doesn't like Dan Hooker. Right? Even though they were scheduled to fight and did have a fight in MMA the day after that. He was like, oh, why not just break his nose with a headbutt? He also tried to punch a fan, which he ended up missing, luckily. And you know why he tried punching a fan in the crowd? Because that fan dared to flip off the great Arman Tsarukyan. And Arman felt the urge to punch him just for giving him the middle finger. And the guy even apologized for flipping him off. And lastly, back in December of 2023, a couple of days before Arman headlined a UFC fight night against Beneil Dariush, Arman and members of Arman's team pressed Bobby Green while he was on his own in a hallway minding his own business. And in that situation, Arman reached out and grabbed Bobby's throat before his own team, along with security, separated him from Bobby. And later that same night, Bobby Green ran up by himself on some of the guys from Arman's team from earlier, and he punched a couple of them, and those guys from Arman's team proceeded to run away from Bobby. All right? They're pussies. They didn't have big Arman to back him up. Right? And after the fights that weekend, Arman said, quote by quote, this is exactly what he said, I was super happy when his head was bumping on the canvas. And he said that at the post-fight press conference. And the reason why I have an issue with that is because, just so you guys know, that is in the context of Bobby Green getting brutally KO'd by Jalen Turner and being on the receiving end of one of the latest stoppages and one of the nastiest stoppages in UFC history. Now, you can take this information however you want, but I believe that Arman is screwing himself out of opportunities in the UFC with this childish behavior.